Boom. What is good? Happening, everybody? It's your boy Fares and Adelia. And welcome to another edition of the Open Table. Not LGR reviews.
No,
we're not reviewing anything. We're on our new show every Friday, guys. 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Mountain, and 10 o'clock Central. It's our Open Table. It's our weekly dinner party. We talk to amazing people across the world. And I mean across the world, because last time we had someone in New Zealand. But now we have two amazing people coming up right after I introduce my co-host, the wonderful Adelia. Adelia, how are you?
I'm good, Ferris. I'm enjoying the quiet in my house. My 4-year-old niece has been here all week, and it has been chaos. So it's very nice to have it be quiet.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying being back in my house.
Yeah.
After a weekend, I was in Baltimore. I will talk about that trip in 2 weeks when we have some special guests in a while. We'll talk about that. But without further ado, you're amazing, Adelia. But our guests here, they're tremendous. They're, I would say they had this great interview on Friday with
Monday.
Former guest Nerd Chronic on the Passion Fruit YouTube channel called the Reactiverse podcast. And they talked about how they got into the game of reacting to movies. First it was vlogging, then it was reacting. Tremendous people. I call them trendsetters. I think they're trendsetters. Wonderful people. Amazing. From the great land of Arizona. It's the one, the only. They're not late to this party. It is late to the party. Vanessa and Robert. Hit it, Adelia.
Hello!
Hey.
Thanks so much, guys. So happy to be here. The hot land of Arizona.
Yeah.
Setting records every day.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Arizona, guys, okay. How is Arizona?
Hot.
Okay, it's hot, yes. But what stuff y'all get up to in Arizona? Like, what do y'all do on a daily basis? Because I know you guys are very busy, reacting to stuff, trying to stay on top of the trends of the new movies and the new TV shows, like you guys said in your interview with Eric. But what's something you guys do to Vanessa, I don't want to really react. I want to go do something else right now. I want to decompress. I want to get away. What do you guys do? I heard you guys go to the loft on Mondo Mondays.
Yes.
Do y'all still do that? Do y'all do something else? Do you read? Write poetry? What do you guys do?
Not so much. Yeah, we go to the movies, as William Harold can attest to in the comment section. We go to the loft. We go to our local AMC, which is literally a stone's throw away from where we live. But it's too hot. It's so hot. So that's really what we did. And that's what we've always done growing up in Arizona. We watch movies. We would go to the mall because it was cooler. We really didn't have money to spend there. So we go to the movies. And that's pretty much what we do now.
Yeah, we don't really have a whole lot of other things to do in the summertime, I guess, because it's so hot outside. So you either have to wake up super early to go on walks, or you go on walks super late at night, which we do anyways because we have a dog. So we take her for walks. Other than that, I do read. I like to read. And then I'm currently playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, so that's what I like to do too.
I don't play a whole lot of video games as much as I used to. I get pretty bored, but if there's a game that I like that from the past when they do the remakes, when Dead Space came out, they did a remake for that. I ate up that game. I love that game. Beat it, and now I'm just waiting until I can play it again because I put a little bit of time in between plays. But I can't go back to the older games. I don't have the patience for that. And then some of the newer games are just too meticulous and just take way too much of my effort to pull them off. Zelda, I was all about Breath of the Wild, but then she's over here saying, oh, you got to do this and make this to do this to this. I was like, no, I'm not into the crafting game. Just give me a gun, some ammo, and a health pack, and just send me on my way, and that'll be fine. So. But other than that,
not a big fan of the open worlds, Robert. You're not a big fan of the open world.
Depends on the open world. Skyrim, no. GTA, yes. So it's it depends. If it's easy enough for me. Like there's a balance. Like Horizon Zero Dawn was, I think, pushing the limit of like my crafting abilities. It's just I forget stuff when it comes to all the things they allow you to do. But when they get too meticulous and they're like, oh, you can only carry this much to this thing to do this and that. And I was like, okay, now you're just getting crazy with it. Let me carry 1,000,000 weapons with me. I don't get rid of anything. I don't want to sell anything. And just let me go on my way and complete the mission.
Fun fact, Robert, when you said Dead Space, I bought Dead Space last week.
Have you played it yet?
I started playing it last night. I'm still on the first mission. I was killing some weird looking
necromorphs.
Yeah, is that what they're called? Necromorphs?
They're
the necromorphs, like the humans with the Doc Ock things from the back. You know, I killed a couple, then a couple killed me. One of them jumped out of nowhere, and I may have let out an audible scream.
Sure.
But you know, it was a great game. It was a great game. I quite enjoyed this first bits.
Adelia, do you ever do like horror games? Have you ever played like the survival horror games?
No.
I would love to see you play Dead. I would love to see everybody play Dead Space, but Dead Space, but especially you and Vanessa.
I know he's trying to get me to play Dead Space, and I was like, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it on a live stream and play it.
You have to. You should.
When I play, when I played Silent Hill, I literally will have to go like head first into danger and let them kill me before I can do anything, because I'm like, okay, they killed me once, I'm okay. Now I can continue.
The shock is gone. It's kind of like what Jackie Chan does. Like, if you heard what Jackie Chan does when it comes to firing a gun for the camera, he'll pull the trigger once so that the shock of it you get past, and then he'll fire it again, and that's the cut that they'll end up using.
That's how I am with playing like scary games.
Exactly.
I gotta let them kill me.
Remove the shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dabbled in the space alien dark world where I played like the Alien game.
Yeah.
Like Alien something. And I don't know what it was called. It was in the Alien franchise. But it got to the point where it was like, I'm just walking around in a circle. Like what am I doing right now? Like,
honestly, though, that's what that game is. Like, there ain't a whole lot of substance to it. It's about running and hiding and hoping it doesn't find you. It's not so much of like a campaign-driven game. Yeah, and they do. Alien Isolation. That's what it was.
Yes,
called,
Alien Isolation. There it is. Yeah, I bought it. It was like $2 on PS PlayStation Store. I kind of buy those cheap games. Be like, well, let me try something new. You know, I play a lot of sports games. You know, FIFA, Madden, baseball, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me actually play video games. Unlike there's a lot of people who be like, oh, video games suck. It's like, no, you just play NBA 2K every single day. That's why.
That's
How
true.
about you go play Ghost of Tsushima? Great game,
dude. Yeah, and I haven't played it yet. Like, it's one of those ones that we're keeping in our back pocket. Like, we want to get into it, and I want to
get to it sooner and later.
It's true. Usually what we do is like when the next game's coming out, that's when we'll get the old game, play it, and get ready for the next game. Then we don't play that game, and we wait for the next game after that. So
or we finish both of them so quick, and then we are sitting here waiting for the next game, like Horizon.
Last of Us.
True.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
And we had to wait like 8 years for the new one, and you're like, come on, man. And then they gave us the TV show, and we're like, this is amazing.
I'm excited for the next Spider-Man game. Like, that's another one too that was just.
I've been playing the Spider-Man one lately to be like, oh yeah, I can see why this game was the shit. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Definitely is, and we just watched. We just watched Across the Universe, Across the Spider-Verse, and our reaction should be up on the channel tomorrow. But that one, dude, like, that gives you an even more appreciation, not just for the Spider-Man game, but for like all things Spider-Man and just the badass abilities you're able to do. But it's amazing when they can take those badass abilities and you can do them all in the video game, which is what makes that game so much fun.
Yeah, Spider-Man. So growing up, speaking of Spider-Man, Robert, thank you for bringing that up. Not fun fact, kind of like an embarrassing fact. I didn't know Spider-Man was based on a comic book when the movies came out.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that great? That's education, though. That's how you bring it to the masses and introduce them.
But I thought it was based on the animated TV show in the 90s, right?
Sure.
So I watched that one. So I watched the animated TV show because it was on Disney XD. Shout out to Disney XD. You had a good run. You had a good run. On Disney XD, they would air like the 90s animated Spider-Man and like the 90s X-Men TV show. So like I watched that on that, you know what I mean? So I was like, this show's amazing, not knowing that it was airing in 1992. Maybe thinking that it was airing in 2010. Like, this is a great decision, Stanley. But I was like 10 years too late. And then I also, and then I watched Spider-Man Unlimited, where he goes to the other planet and everyone's like, the animals are the humans and the humans are the pets. And it's like, it's awesome, right? It's awesome. So like, I didn't know what a comic book was. And then in high school, me and my friend Raymond, shout out to you, Raymond, wherever you are. He's probably bartending right now. He said he's reading like this little thin book. And I'm like, hey, yo, what the hell is that, dog? So I just a comic book. I was like, oh, what the hell's a comic book? He's like, comic book, superheroes. And I was like, he's like, and I looked at him like, I know books, bro. Books and novels. I don't know what a comic book is. He's like, you don't know what a comic book is? I was like, no, I don't know what a comic book is, Raymond. What is that? He's like, dude, everything you watch now is based on these. I was like, Batman, Superman. I was like, what? Yes. And he takes me to the comic book store up the street from my high school. There's a comic book store up the street. And I walk in and I was like, who when did I die and join heaven? What is this? And I quickly bought I bought the Rebirth DC series. So I bought Green Lantern, big fan of Green Lantern. Shout out to Dwayne Burke. Batman, and the Ta-Nehisi Coates versions of Black Panther 1 and 2. And I thought I lost them forever, and I found out my mom just took them, and she's holding them for me. So shout out to my mom. Yeah, my mom really, she has them. So that's dope. Okay. But yeah, that's my story.
Dude, you're like the epitome of late to the party.
I am. Yes.
To the comic book.
I am so late. I was so late. I was like, yo, man, it's great that they created this movie off of an animated show, not knowing it was created on a comic book in the 50s.
And funny enough, if you want to go even deeper, man, the comic books were created just from mythos and lore from the past. So it's like everything has an origin story from something before. And so the stars essentially is where everything originated from. Storytelling from just what was up in the sky, and we got bored one day and decided, let's tell a tale from that. And that's where it all came from. So that's fun. That's exciting.
Spider-Man's my favorite character, period, forever. It was always Spider-Man, and then everyone was like, I don't really give a shit about anybody else. So like Spider-Man, like they're like Batman. But then when Iron Man showed up with like Robert Downey Jr., I'm like, this Iron Man fellow, I like this guy.
Yeah,
this guy's really nice, you know. And it became Spider-Man and Iron Man and Batman. So like it's those three that are my favorite, you know. But I do believe that, you know, all of Batman's problems would be solved if he just went to therapy. But you know, he doesn't want to go there.
The therapists are probably all crooked in Gotham. So
that's true.
Even Chase Meridian was just trying to jump his bones in Batman Forever the entire time.
True.
So like, who the hell's he going to talk to? Eventually, once she did, like, then they chatted up a little bit, and then she was gone in the next one. Actually, they were all gone.
And then certain therapists, you know, become, you know, sadistic criminals.
Except for Robin.
That's true. Yeah.
Shout out to Christopher O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Yo, man, George Clooney had every tool in the book to be a great Batman. Too bad.
I
feel like he did a decent job as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he did.
George?
Yeah.
Clooney?
Yeah, Clooney.
Yeah,
I think he just played himself.
On
really.
Batman.
Yeah,
hey, freeze on Batman.
Yeah.
No, not a fan.
Here's my bet card. I think Val Kilmer had a great combination of both.
Yeah.
I think so.
Honestly, and Tim Franco and us, we were just talking about that the other day, last Saturday actually, doing karaoke at the Boondocks. We're talking about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like, we like those movies. I like Batman Forever more, but we enjoy the Schumacher movies. Like, they're fun. They're very campy. In my opinion, they are a cinematic version of the
TV show,
the Adam West Batman series.
Yes.
So to me, it just feels like that, but you made it this. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, those were the first Batman movies that I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, before I saw the
other one,
the ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the darker, grounded version.
The first Batman that I ever saw was the TV series from the 60s.
Right.
That's the Batman I fell in love with. I don't it's very controversial to some of the LGR crew, but I don't like the Nolan trilogy. I think it's kind of boring. And so I think it's influenced by the fact that that's the Batman I fell in love with, was the campy, crazy, funny one.
Yeah, Tim Franco talks about that all the time. Like he misses the camp, he misses the silliness, he misses the absurd, and he's got a point when it comes to the origins and what we did end up getting at times with Batman, and how yes, we got the serious and we got the nitty gritty kind, which Nolan, and he did a fantastic job. But it's like there's got to be something of everything, just as long as it's done executed well, and not the Flash.
That's what I liked about the Gotham series.
Sure.
That was on. Like the villains in the Gotham series were good.
It just was too much at some point. Like it got heavy handed at some point.
Yeah, I think with Batman though, like you can do a lot with the villains. Just you can't do a lot with Batman. Batman's it's very like either he's gonna be dark and brooding and like you failed the city or whatever. No, not failed the city. That's what's his face? That's Green Arrow. Sorry. Yeah.
Oliver.
Sorry. Oliver. And then so and then or it's like it's can't like what I mean, like with like the Nolan trilogy, they were really more based on the villain. Like Batman Begins, Scarecrow, Ra's al Ghul, that was the shit. The Dark Knight, it was basically the Joker. It was the Joker. I'm sorry. Like I tell I make this joke all the time where I was like, that's not the Dark Knight. He's like, what do you mean it's not it's the Joker, bro? The movie is the Joker. Like, no offense to Christian Bale. And then like in Dark Knight Rises, Bane was the shit until the very end where they made him I'm like, that's not Bane. Get out of here. What are you doing? Like, he's not a crony. Like, and one, he's Latino. Why is he British? I'm confused here. But I digress. So there's that. Yeah.
The one that did Bane right, I think, is the Harley Quinn TV series.
Yeah.
I love
Harley Quinn TV series.
Yeah, we haven't even watched the new season.
I know we
yet,
haven't, but that's because we were doing reactions to it, and then WB Discovery decided to come over and be like,
no,
claim, like, and block. Did they block some of them?
They blocked important ones too. So like I think like it was a 2-part finale, and they blocked like one of them. And then I tried to fight it, and they're just like, nope, blocked. Yeah. And it's like, well, you just ruined my whole like consistency to have everything, and now I just don't even want to watch your show anymore.
Yeah. But we'll get to it eventually.
Hey, did you guys ever play that Arkham games, like the Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight, and dude, those games, like
awesome.
Arkham City.
My favorite is Arkham City.
Talk about games that are like capable of like embodying everything that came before and did it right. Like the Arkham series, I thought did an incredible job in incorporating what you can't really get with the movies. You can only get some pieces of it, but this was like the whole world of Batman.
That's why when they keep pushing the Suicide Squad, I'm like, that's okay. As long as you can get it right, I'm okay with you pushing it.
Yeah, because that's Rocksteady as well too. So.
Yeah, it's the Montreal crew that made the first Arkham game, I think.
Yeah,
I thought they made Arkham Origins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rocksteady made the Arkham Asylum City.
Yeah, they did the trilogy.
Night.
Yeah.
Rocksteady.
I think Origins is the first one, right, guys?
Technically, yeah, because the timeline takes place first.
It came after the other games.
You go up against Deathstroke, which we've never played that one.
Yeah, we haven't played.
We only played the Rocksteady trilogy, which
I like the soundtrack to Arkham City.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is.
I love when the PS Store like puts those like bundles on like deals, like buy like these 3 games for $20, or like yes. So like I bought like all 3 of them for like $25. I'm like, bro, that's a steal. Like that's a steal. It's like, oh, buy these 4 Assassin's Creed games for $30, and I was like, yep, cool with me. I'll buy them because I love those narrative stories where like there's a story I gotta follow, do a little side missions here, but there's a main story where like you're an assassin, you gotta save the world from cosmic destruction and all that jazz. But the Arkham games, there's a story. I quite enjoy it. Shout out to Kevin Conroy, your legend. God rest your soul.
Yeah, man. Conroy and Hamill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, him. Mark Hamill's the Joker. Phenomenal, amazing. I love it where like I'm not really spoiling the game because the game's really old, where the Joker's dead, but the Joker's like not dead,
right?
Like he's like Mark Hamill's voice is everywhere. It's pretty a nice way of doing it.
Good.
I quite enjoyed it. But guys, I want to get to you said WB kept striking your stuff. How do you guys choose what to react? Is it very how do you say the word? What's the word, Adelia?
Algorithmic?
Algorithmic. Thank you. I was about to say allegory. Is it algorithmic? Is it like you see like, you know, the stats and like that? Or is it sometimes like, you know what? I just want to watch this. You just want to watch this? Let's just watch this. And
9 times
a little bit of both.
Yeah, I would say 7 out of 10 is because we really want to watch it.
Yeah.
And then 3 out of 10 is because we think about the algorithm and the viewership.
Sure,
as well.
we kind of, I guess, do research on it to see like if people are interested in watching it. Based off of like if other reactors have watched it too, and kind of see like, okay, we're kind of similar to what they do, and they did the movie, and it seems like they have good numbers, so maybe eventually we get to it and stuff like that. So it really depends.
If nobody shows up for the trailer reactions, that's a great way to kind of test the waters for stuff.
Okay.
Is if no one shows up really for the trailer reactions, then we're probably not going to put much effort into a movie reaction, knowing that you didn't show up to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
So more than likely, there's no reason for us to do a movie reaction, and we'll just watch the movie on our own. Same with the series. You know, if we're doing a show trailer and like nobody cares, if later on there's a huge buzz and everybody starts talking about it because everyone didn't know, then maybe we'll jump in after the fact. That's what happened with Squid Game. Mostly because we didn't know about Squid Game, but we heard rumblings of it when it first dropped, but nothing crazy. But then when we were seeing Dos Cavazos and other channels that did do it, we're getting astronomical numbers on their reactions. Like we were like, oh, this is something we should watch. That is a situation where algorithm played a part because they were just killing it numbers wise, stuff you don't typically see. And I think we were maybe a week behind, 2 weeks behind, and we jumped into it. And even us, like one of our highest viewed episode reactions
is
the Squid Game episode. So even though we were a week or two late, so was the rest of the world. So we like jumped in right when everyone did, and it was killer. It was amazing for the channel. But then there's other shows like What We Do in the Shadows, which our numbers, nothing.
They're not great.
And we don't do it for the algorithm.
No, we do it for ourselves because we love that show.
So there's situations
you never
where
know, eventually, maybe somewhere down the line, because they're on the channel, that they'll get a huge boost. And that basically kind of happened when we ended up watching Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai was on YouTube Red, so it didn't really get a whole lot of push at that time. But then when it moved over to Netflix, people watched our reaction to the season finale for season 2, and that skyrocketed like crazy. So
still, again, one of our highest viewed episode reactions on the channel is to Cobra Kai, Squid Game, and then let's see.
There's a couple stragglers up there.
Cobra Kai is number 1, Civil War is number 2, Squid Game is number 3 in terms of highest viewed videos of all time on our channel. So that just goes to show you that even Cobra Kai, we were late to the party. We didn't do the first season of Cobra Kai on our channel. What We Do in the Shadows, we didn't do the first season because we didn't know. We didn't know. We watched it because we wanted to watch it. And then after that was like, well, damn.
I think, didn't that also happen with Stranger Things? Like we didn't do
the first season either. We just watched it on our own.
We jumped in on second season,
And because obviously you watch it, so it's not a true reaction. If you go back, that's just fraud. So we were like, all right, we'll start with season 2. And that's late to the party. So that kind of helped us just having that name, because then we jumped in at season 2 instead.
Makes sense.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
We kind of lack the foresight. We're always reactive, funny enough, versus proactive.
Although we should probably be proactive.
We should be proactive, but just like the movie reactions, we should have been doing those ages ago. We had it already all set up, but we didn't even think, do movie reactions instead of trailer reactions for all the old movies, and we would have been in a pretty nice spot right now, because movie reactions are killing it online. Especially if you haven't seen it, like some of the heavy hitters.
I'm YouTube Red, man. That was the wildest era, because I remember getting YouTube Red and I watched Cobra Kai in like the weekend, and I'm like, damn, am I gonna have to have YouTube Red for this entire show? And like, oh my god. So I canceled it. I was like, nah, this is nonsense. And I'll re-up, and then like a year later it's like, yeah, we sold the rights to Netflix, and I was like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then like, I felt like I was like, now everyone's gonna know why I've been yelling about Cobra Kai.
Sure.
You know, I was early to the party, you know, apparently.
Yeah.
And then, you know, kind of just took off, and Cobra Kai became Cobra Kai, you know, and quite enjoy it. I love it myself. But guys, more questions about you. Rob, so I was listening to the Eric podcast. Love Eric again. Where you said you want to create a sense of like you want to help people, right? You want to talk about your setup with other people and how you trade secrets and how to do how do you do things certainly. Because I'm looking at your camera. Your camera is amazing.
Sure.
All right, it's tremendous. Like how do you envision doing that? And do you think that could be sustainable with collaboration with others?
It's been going on for quite some time. It's one of those behind the scenes things. It's not something that I put at the forefront and monetize or anything like that. But there are channels out there that would know, like they know that we collaborated, we talked each other through it. I've even made videos of doing editing things or tricks and sent them to those other channels and like, this is what I do, and I'll show them. I'll write, like, I've had Greg Alba contact me after we got this very camera. Greg Alba contacted me. He said, hey, what camera are you guys using now? And so I was like, oh, we're using this camera with this lens, and this is the focal length of whatever we're doing. And immediately, like right after that, the Real Rejects ended up jumping to a new camera too. They're not using the same camera, but he knew what to look for, because you don't know until somebody does it. And you're like, oh, that's what I like. Hey, what is it that you're doing? And then you share that. But there's a channel out there, and I love it. Michael Blankenship, Blank, is the editor of this channel, and it's Extraordinarily Ordinary Media. Extraordinarily Ordinary Media, we were on the ground floor when they started. It was 3 guys that were doing reactions with 1 editor that was cutting all their stuff. But he had questions, so he reached out to us. And dude, me and Blank, we went through everything. Still to this day, still do it. We'll communicate back and forth. And right now, they're pushing 50,000 subs. They're going to hit 100,000 probably by the end of this year. JL, who's their primary reactor on their channel, is killing it because he hasn't seen any movies, so they're dominating
so they get,
right
like,
now.
The heavy hitters like Lord of the Rings,
Back to the Future. He's going through Jurassic Park. They're the Marvel movies. Like, he's going through everything.
Yeah, those are like the heavy hitter movie reactors. That's kind of where I feel like they started. Whereas, unfortunately, you know, we've seen those movies already when they came out. So
and Blank reached out, and Blank wanted details of like, how do you get past the copyright? How do you cut this to get past, you know, the blocks that plague all of us? And I was like, yeah, dude, let's go through it. And there's so many other channels that I'll sit there and type out these long things and letting everybody know how we do it and what we do. You just got to ask. And then when I find time and I'm able to break it down, I'll do it. And hopefully it'll help people out. And it helped quite a few channels out. So it's something that we've always kind of been doing, but it's not really at the forefront. And I kind of look at it, I guess, not so much. It's more in the back of my mind that it feels like I'm giving away the trade secrets. Like, I don't want to go out there and make a video on it, but I feel like if I'm helping somebody out individually, like I'm putting in work and effort to help them, it feels more acceptable than me making all these videos, putting them out, and then basically just robbing all the other reactors. Because now I just created a whole bunch of reactors, you know, by making the trade information out there for it's like a magician, you know, sharing your secrets. So there's part of me that's like, I'm cool with doing it individually with people, but I just never felt like it's something
I want to put the effort to put it in a video, though.
It's true. I'm just too lazy to make a video about it all and edit it together. But honestly, it comes down to like, I don't want to monetize it and give everybody the information, because I feel like that would be wrong.
And I'm sure there's plenty of other YouTubes that do it way better online anyway.
Well, I haven't done it yet. How do you know I'm not doing it? Honestly, yeah, I just, it's not something I entertained, putting it out on YouTube for people to watch videos on how to do it. But yeah, individually, man, I'll help out anybody that comes and asks, detail wise.
So you're big into collaboration, Robert. That's the way to go. You know, because at the end of the day, a rising tide lifts all boats.
It's true. Oh yeah, we'll go into the comment sections and we'll watch everybody's live streams, and if we're not, it's because we're out filming or doing something else somewhere at the movies. Like what was it? So Mondays we used to do the Nerd Chronic, Video Chronic, and they would do like their quizzes and stuff, and they used to do it on Mondays, and then we would start going to Mondo Monday, and it interfered with Mondays. But yeah, it's finding time to be able to support each other, and just being in the comment section, commenting, liking and sharing or signal boosting, whatever you can do. If you catch it, I get it. Not everyone catches it. And even we're at fault for it. Like, we watch so many of our peers. We watch a lot of channels and we don't say shit in the comment section.
We'll like it, but
we forget.
We don't go into the comment section because we talk to each other. That's our comment section.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, and we try and get better at it. Yeah. It's like JL from EOM. I was just telling him, oh yeah, I watched this. And as I was telling him all the videos that we watched recently of his, I was like, damn, I didn't comment in one of those videos. So like, we try when we can to signal boost them. If it was
something like really that I want them to see, then I'll put it in there. But
yeah,
majority of the time we're just silent watchers.
And that's a thing that we just need to get better at, because for the longest time we've always been silent watchers, much like many of the people like us. So
yeah, they're like, some people will comment or will say that, yeah, I watched this video of yours, and it's like, oh cool, and they don't comment either, so we're in the same boat.
But Tim Franco will always tell me, like, I just watched your vid. I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Tell me, Tim, you're there. He's probably here right now. He watches all these live streams.
That's why I tell everybody, comment, man. Comment, guys. This is what I ask for the viewers. I ask for one thing. Well, a couple things. I ask them to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Get all the notifications for the channel. That's what I ask for, right there. Thank you, Robert. Right there. Because we're at 850 subscribers, trying to get to 900.
Damn.
So we're almost there. That's all I ask. And then if you guys want to donate, that's cherry on top of the sundae. Well, the sundae is subscribing and hitting that notification bell. That's it. And commenting. That's it. That's the sundae. If you want to add a little cherry, the donation. And joining the Patreon at Patreon_LGRN Network. But I want to also something, Eric, that popped in my mind during the interview, where you guys said you guys wanted to vlog early on. You guys loved vlogging. You guys vlogged at the local horror night. You guys did. I don't remember the name. Nightfall. When did it become apparent that you guys are transitioning over to reacting? Was that like, you guys vlogged and saw the reactions have these amazing numbers, or was it kind of, did someone tell you to start reacting, or is it just a kind of an organic transition to just like, let's just react to stuff on our channel instead of vlogging?
I mean, I think it was more so of, we saw the numbers that reactions were doing, and we were like, oh well, we do talk about these movies and watch the trailers all the time. Like, why not just kind of transition over there? And it felt like it was an easier kind of foot in the door as far as getting subscribers and stuff. Whereas I feel like with vlogging, it does take a little bit more time when it comes to, building a fan base or building a base off of that. Whereas reactions, I feel like it's a little bit more steady.
So, the way I remember it, we were doing the vlogging, and vlogging is really hard because you're working with zero template. You're like, it's just start, just go. And then when you're editing vlogs, it's even worse because you're like,
you don't know
how do I put it all together? Like, you're just taking a mishmash of everything. And if you didn't film, like if you didn't ahead of time already know what you were going to showcase to be able to cut it later, like you got to work in the field to make it work in the editing room as well, to make your life easier. And there's a lot that goes into that. And so what I started realizing, because we didn't know how to edit out of the gate, we weren't doing the editing and we were doing the vlogging and then just throwing it to some of our friends who knew how to edit, and then they would come back with it. And I was just like, I don't know, it doesn't really, like, I feel like we weren't helping you by shooting the right stuff and you weren't helping us. So then it just kind of hit a wall. It felt like we didn't really know what we were doing. And so it just kind of got stale in the sense of like, well, maybe we don't know how to do this. And then the reactions were starting to come out, where the reason why we even did reactions in the first place was because we felt like we could add a voice to it. Like, we got excited when we saw this stuff. We had an 2-hour-long conversation after watching the trailer 100 million times for The Force Awakens. Like, why can't we? We have the equipment that works with the other stuff we're doing. So why not? Let's try that. And so we ended up doing it. We said it in the interview, but I wasn't as clear. We ended up doing it for like the second or third trailer for The Force Awakens. It wasn't even the first or second trailer. It was like the official trailer 2 or whatever. And that's the one we ended up doing a reaction to. And then when we did that, the numbers skyrocketed. And then so I was like, oh, damn, like that's actually, this is easier. Like this is an easier thing to do. We still weren't editing, but it was easier to give it to somebody and turn it around. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. And so we just started throwing more effort to that form of content than doing the other stuff, which was taking longer. Funny enough, we never stopped vlogging technically. I was just watching another video a couple days ago and she's like, what the hell is that? It's like, that's us. We did vlogs for movie reviews. So if you go back to our early movie reviews of all the movie reviews, we did vlogs before and did stupid stuff, little skits, all that. Even the Force Awakens review was a whole vlog. It's at the theater that no longer exists. It's been bulldozed in line. We had music, we had costumes. Like we did all sorts of vlogs.
So early in the morning.
For that. But that's how we transitioned our vlogs over, and nobody really noticed, and it wasn't doing as good numbers wise. And so it was like, well, we're putting so much effort into these reviews. Well, let's just cut the vlog stuff out and let's just give everybody a review. So that's what you get now with the movie reviews. And then the vlogging ended up coming after we were more versed in editing, more versed in filming, and more versed in confidence in just knowing what to say, to where I think it was really Nightfall where we learned, where we would go and make it a point to shoot in this open area in public and with friends and see how it turned out. And when that did good, we did the conventions, Phoenix Comic-Con, that cut our teeth for San Diego Comic-Con. And then after San Diego Comic-Con, it was the Not Scary Farm and Disneyland and Halloween Horror Nights. And we started doing, bigger and more extravagant vlogs that still don't get anywhere near amount of views as the trailer reactions, but that's why we don't do nearly as many as we did. So that's a long answer for a short story. Long story. What's the quote? Nobody.
Short story long.
Long answer, short story. Short story, long an answer. Anyways,
I have no idea, Robert. You could have made up the phrase, and I'll be like, I agree.
Check out our reaction to Nobody on our channel now. It just came out Thursday. It's in there.
All right. Fun fact. Sad fact. I've never actually been to Disneyland, but that's a story for. That's a story for another day. Adelia.
Yeah. I found you guys when you started doing Schmodown reactions, and I was wondering, how did you decide to start reacting to something that's as niche? We all loved it, but as niche as the Schmodown was.
Right.
Funny enough, we were kind of, I think when it was the first spectacular.
Yeah.
When we were kind of like, you know what, we could totally react to this stuff because just kind of, like a sport. So you're reacting to a sport that's happening. But we never did it until Christian gave the go ahead. Because I remember when he was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for people to react to this. We want to see your reactions and stuff." We're like, "Okay, well there we go." Because we were trying to find a way to like reach out and be like, "Hey, can we react to this?" And we just never ended up doing it. And then finally Christian was like, okay. Yeah.
We were always going to react to the Schmodown. We were waiting to react to the Schmodown to the point where, we wanted to meet up or run in or have a conversation without feeling like we're soliciting. Like, we want to react to your stuff. Like, let's partner up. Like, we didn't want that. We wanted to be fans, which we were, of the Schmodown, but we even knew, we were like, damn, we got a pretty good thing going right now with the channel. We've got our editing down. We've got the quality in place, the consistency. It's like, we just need that door to open so we can jump in when the Schmodown is ready for us and when we're ready for the Schmodown. Because we were ready for the Schmodown. And it wasn't until that post from Christian on, like, I think it was like Facebook or something, where he's just like, hey, if there's any reactors out there that want to react to the Schmodown, let's see it. I was like,
all right,
done. And we did it like that night, like that very first Schmodown, we had it engineered, and it was like that week we ended up getting a notification from Christian Harloff saying, "When you in LA?"
Yeah, it's like, oh.
And
it's great.
And it was because we were fans. Like, we loved the show.
Yeah.
We were having reactionary moments watching the show. And we knew that this was something that could be a reaction worthy show. And did we know it would lead up to so many other channels being created? Taylor Robinson, like there were so many other reactors that came out. Take three, Let's Get Ready, like everybody coming out, not just reactions, but just in terms of after shows and dissection and just talking about the show. We had no idea. And granted, we weren't the only ones. It was like a couple other channels that were out doing it at the same time as us. But man, it was, we put in the work and we put in the effort. Like that was a lot of effort and dedication to film and edit those reactions weekly, multiple times a week, especially the pay-per-views. But yeah, it was one of those things, like you said, it was niche, and it was a situation where we loved it so much that we didn't care what the numbers would be.
Right. We just wanted to do it, and might as well just put it on YouTube.
Sure. That was the best place to put it, because it got us in the door with Christian Harloff. We wanted him to know we loved it so much, and we're going to show you why. And we did. And that, the rest, as they say, is history. It's true.
Yeah, I used to watch the Shimoda match on whatever day it came out, and then as soon as your reaction came up, I would watch your reaction to it, even though I just watched the match. So I missed the Shimoda reactions. I miss the Shimoda period. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I'm co-hosting the Nostalgia Crackdown here and talking about it every month. But I miss you guys' reactions to it a lot.
We appreciate it, and we did too. There was too many. There were just way too. He got to the point where he was doing like almost every day. And it was like, Christian, we can't keep up with the amount. And then the pay-per-views went from 3 hours to 7 hours. It's like we were breaking it up into multiple videos, and it's like this is long form stuff. The matches are an hour long for the most part, unless you got your ass whipped, and then they were shorter. But we, it took a while to edit, render, upload, like. That was very time consuming, but yeah, we miss them. We miss like how it was in the first, half, not even the first half, like six seasons of the Schmodown, 7 seasons of the Schmodown. Then after that, it got a bit much. Then we just watched it at that point. We watched it at home and played along like we did, for that short period before we started doing reactions. Right. But in retrospect, looking at it, like we should have found a way to make those videos more digestible, not as long. Like Adelia, you'd have to sit there and watch the match twice. Now, granted, I know you had fun and enjoyed it, but Christian liked us to watch it in its entirety. But I feel like we should have figured out a way to just give you the highlights of what was going on to make it not so much of a dedication to watch every episode.
It's like when you watch an NFL game or a basketball game. It's called the condensed highlights, where it's like it's the game in like 10 minutes.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that.
And we should have just put us up on the screen when something funny was said or when a moment happened, and then you could leave in like the final 3 questions, like the building up the suspense. And oh my god, but a lot of things in hindsight we wish we could have done different with that, but we are very happy with the outcome.
Right? Yeah, like what we did was great too.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to get on a serious topic from that interview again with Eric. I keep referencing that interview because it was a phenomenal conversation, and I don't just say that because I go by the rule. This right, the way I support my friends is if they weren't my friend, would I be watching this? 9 times out of 10, it's usually I'm watching this because they're my friend. But sometimes even if you weren't my friend, I'll still watching this. Eric's podcast, even if I didn't know Eric and I wasn't his friend, I'll still be watching it because I like good conversation, good insight. And great people, right? So like you 3 were phenomenal together, and same thing with you, Robert, where you said your job got consolidated at Best Buy. It kind of evaporated your position where you had 2 jobs. You had the channel, then you had the Best Buy job, and then you made the decision when you found out that the Best Buy job, they just gave you a mug. Did they really value you? Did they really not value you? during that realization where you're like, you know what, I'm out. I'm gonna go do this where I value myself, and I'm gonna dedicate myself to this. Was it scary? Was it something? Was it kind of a relief? What were the emotions that came to your mind where you're like, you know what, full time. I'm done with this. Full time this one. Can you take me through that?
Sure. So I guess I guess I could totally see how you came to that conclusion. I did leave Best Buy. Best Buy was how we got the equipment, but I was already long gone from Best Buy. I was working at a TV station. I was a director for the local news here in Tucson, one of the stations. And that was where I went through years of training other people, consolidating 2 different positions of directors and the operation technicians. I was an operation technician, and the directors got merged into one department. So I became a director, but then I had to train all the other directors how to do the operations technician job. And then we were told there would be a raise at the end of it. And then when we got to the end of the training, ended up losing a bunch of people, bringing more in. There was no raise. And I asked for the raise specifically for what I did. And instead I got a corrective action for something that was done when I wasn't in the building. And I also ended up getting a mug as a thank you for it. That was where it was like, okay, well, now I'm going to reevaluate what I've been doing with the channel ever since Best Buy, where we started. Best Buy, the TV station, I was doing 2 jobs, this channel being the second job the entire time. Yeah, it was scary to the point where it wasn't. Like, it was scary until the point where we were making the money every single paycheck essentially coming from Google. We were getting the ad revenue that was on the equivalent end, if not more, sometimes double what I was getting at the station. And so it was like, yeah, it once that safety net was there, in the sense that, like, well, I'm still going to be making the money. So that's the whole reason why I'm quitting, right? Like, I have the experience, I have the notoriety, the position, the references. So worse things worse, I guess I could come back if I wanted to, which I don't, and I'm not gonna, but I can utilize what I did learn from that if I really, really needed to get a job doing something else. So I never felt like it was too scary of a hurdle to jump over, because I knew I'd be okay. And the channel already said I would be okay. It's just, now with everything, all the rising prices of everything, groceries, gas, all the escalated inflation, now it's at the point where it's like, well, maybe I should get a second job again, just so I can have more of a cushion. Because after what just went down with the health stuff, like, you got to have a little bit of a cushion. You got to pad the savings account, which thank goodness everybody came out to help us during that medical situation, because there's no way, man, the amount of money that they were asking, and that's with insurance, the amount of money that they were asking, like $5,000 just for x-rays. Are you kidding me? And that's with insurance. So, granted, we're trying to get that taken care of. Still haven't heard back, but we'll see. Yeah. That's a scary part. But when you get to a point where you can do it for yourself and make the money on your own, or monetize your creativity, like, after that, man, no, I wasn't scared at all. And I haven't been scared since I left, which was July of 2 years ago. So it's going pretty good. And anybody who eventually makes that leap, and I say this to anybody who is in a job where they're undervalued and underappreciated, just know that with your ability and your potential and what you have done already just for that job, if you're a hard worker, anybody would snatch that up. They absolutely would in a heartbeat. You just have to dedicate and apply yourself in those situations. And granted, that doesn't mean, go from a Best Buy to a Target. Like, they're going to treat you as crap just the same. It doesn't matter. But, if there is something that you're good at, Adelia, man, you've shown. I was just talking to Vanessa about Adelia the other day. I was like, that's a damn good producer right there, reminding us when it is, keeping in contact with it. Like, girl, you got your shit down. And that just goes to show you, if you have the effort and the ability and what you have to show for it, like, you're somebody that I would snatch up, just like Passion Fruit did.
Hey, whoa.
Bringing you in. Fares, you're the pretty face, my friend, with the words. You talk it all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Robert. You know how many people I had to beat away with a stick, trying to snatch her up? Man, I'm ready, and I'll fight to the death for her, man. Like, we gotta rumble. I need her. I need her, man.
And that's what's awesome. Like, as soon as she said, like, you're doing the new show, and she's like, with Fares, I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. So the two of you, hell yeah, we'll come and talk to you guys. Like, we love you guys. So putting you guys together, it's a heavy hitter duo right there. So she's in the perfect place. But it doesn't mean that's the only thing you have to do. You can apply yourself other places and, you know, make it work for you. And that's what we ended up doing. So
yeah. Well, I want to give Vanessa's perspective on that situation. Like, you know, as you know, you were seeing Robert do this. Like, what was going through your mind? What was, you know, were you encouraging? Were you also scared? Like, what was going through your mind?
No, I wasn't scared at all.
She's like, I got a job.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I have a job still. So I wasn't scared at all because I knew like what we were doing and like the amount of money and stuff that was coming in and all that stuff. So, and the fact that he was constantly talking about the job, to the point where I was like, yeah, eventually, yeah, you gotta leave. Like when he told me about the whole mug thing, I was in shock. I was like, ooh, like you got one of them good quit stories.
Yeah.
So
I still remember the lead anchor at that store, at that station. He came up to me. He's like, Rob, come here. And I went over and talked to him. He's like, what was going on? I was like, wait, could you hear me? Like, was everybody listening to me? Because her office, she was the news director, and her office is right there at the bullpen where all the reporters are, all the producers. So I was like, could you hear me in there? And he's like, no, dude, like we just looked over and we could all see you doing this and your hands in the air and you were just so animated and we've never seen you like that here at the station. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, good. No, I quit. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I put in my 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm glad you couldn't hear me though, because I was talking sternly, assertively, not yelling. But even like the lead anchor came over and was just like, damn. He's like, well, now you got a good quitting story. It's like, yeah. So everybody wanted to hear my quitting story. All the reporters and producers. And I wasn't the only one, dude. They ended up, I think it was like 30 people ended up quitting from every department during that reign of that news director. And then she ended up getting transferred out anyways. But it's like, dude, it was bad. It was bad. Like just to the point where they were expecting more and paying less. They were bonusing and they were profiting like crazy off of the pandemic through commercials and all that, like the advertisements. Everybody was home watching. They were hemorrhaging money. It was political season. Like they were getting all the ad revenue for the political ads and they were bonusing like crazy, all the higher ups. And yet they couldn't give me an extra $1. Like, and that's what I was asking for. It's like, shit, I should be making $4 extra. But no, they just wouldn't do it. And I knew that they had gone to the dark side when it comes to taking advantage of your workers.
When he told me like the exact thing that the manager said, she was just like, you got the mug, right? And then
you got your mug,
like,
right?
That's your bonus. That's your raise.
That's your raise.
And
it's
like,
like,
oh my god!
And I had my 2 weeks notice already written.
You had it written. Well, I quit.
It just wasn't dated or signed because I knew I would end up using it very shortly. Because I was going to ask for the raise, so I knew it was coming. So yeah, instead she ended up giving me a write-up because somebody who was in the room didn't realize he was supposed to be rolling commercials during WWE SmackDown. How do you not roll commercials during WWE SmackDown? It's like your highest revenue point.
Paying attention to
it's because he's I pay attention. This kid didn't, and I wasn't even there. I was on lunch. I was out of the building, and he's just idiot. He ended up getting fired right after me though, but should have been fired before me, so I never would have gotten in trouble. But anyways, I vented. Thank you so much. I haven't vented that job in like 2 years.
You're good, man. You're good. I'm sitting back and listening. Sometimes you need a good vent session.
I know it sucked, dude. That job was. I even told Vanessa, man, I could still be doing that job. I would do that job till I retired because that job was cake until they gave you the massive workload and didn't compensate you for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing 2 full jobs for the price of one.
Yeah.
That ain't good biz. Not in my book. So yeah, anybody who's getting taking advantage of their job, don't let it happen. There's no reason to. Don't let the managers walk all over you. Don't feel bad if you need to take a sick day. Like screw that, dude. You take it. You use it.
To be fair though, it's a pretty good mug though.
It's a great mug.
Speaking of the mug, Andres, show us the mug.
Show us the mug. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah. I use
Andres,
it
that's for you,
sometimes for
Andres.
coffee.
It's coming for you, Andres.
For coffee.
Yeah.
Is it inscribed?
Alan
No.
Smithy says that mug better make its own coffee.
I wish, but yeah.
So this is the company I used to work for.
Hello,
Gray
I'm awesome.
Television. Hello, I'm awesome.
But it's a pretty good mug.
It's like the Miz over here, Mike Mizanin. Let's do it.
You know
Come
what?
on,
You
come
know
on.
what?
Cover your face, Vanessa. There we go. Hello, I'm awesome. It's
You know, that's
great
a really
mug.
cool mug. That's a really nice mug.
It's a heavy duty
Yeah,
mug too.
It's
a
just, you know, it's
beaker.
just, you know, that mug would be better if, you know, it came with a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it came
Yeah,
with
it
the
would have
raise,
been
yeah.
much better if it was filled with money.
Exactly.
But either way, from what I heard, they ain't doing so good right now. So, not to wish their downfall, but I told them so.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah,
So,
that was
so
my
Robert,
life.
you brought it up. You did go through a little health scare. You know, kind of put everybody on a little scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared as shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really scared. How you feeling now? You know, you said, you know, you still have to deal with the X-ray bill, but like, as like, you know, physically, mentally, how are you and where are you now? Are you better? You still dealing with some things? Like, how are you feeling?
You probably hear my dog drinking water in the background. I'm much better compared to where I was. There was the iron deficiency that I was dealing with, anemia, and I ended up taking iron pills for like the last month. So we're waiting to see how that's going to affect me going forward, because that was one of the biggest remnants, because I was done. Like, I needed to nap like 3 times a day. I was groggy, tired all the time. And it's because I had the blood transfusions and all the loss of blood. So I was just, you know, weak, completely weak, but much better now in comparison. I took my nap today, so we're good. I took my nap yesterday, which is good. But I'm working back up. The iron pills are done. I'm not sure what my levels are yet. I still have to go get another blood test just to make sure. But as for any of the blood, I'm not bleeding, haven't bled since the hospital, which was over 2 months ago now, headed on 3 months.
Now, yeah.
So everything's going much better. We're back to normal.
Yeah.
There were some residual things that ended up happening, like enlarged spleen due to the anemia. So it's all like a chain reaction. Ended up getting sick, like my throat was hurting, but like it knocked me on my ass, but it's slowly but surely, you know, I'm recovering.
Yeah.
So at this point now, like we're focused moving forward, back to, you know, full capacity on the channel. We'd like to do more on the channel, but you know, that just comes down to time and energy. Like,
things will change as far as like diet and stuff too, like no more alcohol.
Yeah, I haven't had alcohol
He hasn't had
since.
caffeine since.
Nope, no caffeine since it all went down. No alcohol since it all went down. Just water,
After
milk
it
every once
happened
in a while.
too, he was on a soft diet for himself. Like they didn't tell him he had to do it. He just did it for himself. So he was on a soft diet for a while. And then finally back to normal food.
Sure.
Although majority of the food I feel like is okay on a soft diet anyway. So
it was like mashed potatoes and meatloaf. That was pretty much all I ate for a while, which is great. I love mashed potatoes and meatloaf. Apparently they're like, gravy is your friend on a soft food diet. I'm like, yeah, my cholesterol says otherwise. Like,
and then there's other things that like contradict certain things too. So it's like, because at least something like, I guess, good that came out of it is that you found out that you had diverticulosis.
Right.
So I mean, if you never did go in there, you would have, I guess you would have no idea that you had it.
And we know everybody, you know, should have a colonoscopy at some point in their life, earlier rather than later. I've had 2 of them and 2 endoscopies, so now I know that I'm free of anything, you know,
Yeah, they
that
didn't
could be
find any
looming.
like
because that was
as far
something
as,
I was always
cancer and
concerned
stuff,
about,
yeah.
especially like with what Kevin Smets had to go through. So it was something I was concerned about. So I'm glad that they got in there and figured out that everything's cool down there, other than the diverticulosis.
Right.
So that just means essentially, and again, it's contradictory based on what the doctors say, but
And what
I
things
can't
say
I can't
in
have
general.
popcorn, I can't have seeds, I can't have peanuts, I can't have almonds.
It's
like-
mainly just so that it doesn't, I guess, irritate. But at the same time, there's a lot of things out there that says, well, there isn't like full study that these can cause, eruptions or stuff to those little pockets. So,
Yeah.
But just better be safe than sorry.
So in other words, we're just taking it day by day.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Vanessa, like, what were you going through? Like your emotions and your, mindset going.
I was
seeing
stressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She cried.
I cried. I did. I cried at night with my dog, just petting her all the time because it's scary. You never really been in a situation like that. You don't know what's going on. So just kind of go like, especially at the beginning too. And I didn't know that they do this for like patients, because this is the first time we've really just in general had him stay at the hospital in this way, or just like anybody in my life had been in a hospital this way. But I remember him texting me and he was like, yeah, they're asking me if I have a living will and all this stuff. And I was just like, what? Like, it took me so by surprise, but apparently, they pretty much do that for everyone, which I get.
Yeah.
Now,
the
but,
first thing was like,
it's
have
like
you ever had a blood
freaking
transfusion? And do you have an active living will? I'm like, no on both.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I guess because the transfusion can go
And then
very
by the
wrong.
5th transfusion, Robert's like, I'm getting another transfusion. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And I felt bad, I had 9 transfusions, but I was in the
Yeah.
ICU with the guy who had 40,
Yeah.
like 40 transfusions, because this dude was just going.
Needing the blood. But
Yeah.
yeah. So if you can donate.
Absolutely.
I just got an email too that they recently changed one of their from American Red Cross, that they no longer when you are doing like the questionnaire to get blood tested, that they no longer ask you about like sexual orientation and all of that stuff. So they kind of go in with like everybody gets the same amount of questions, which is huge because before they never let people who were LGBTQ that were sexually active. So now it gives more opportunity for them to do it too. So that's cool.
Because at this point, they're just like, it's out there, or you're going to get it no matter what. So like, that's the case. They should just base it on whether or not it's infected or not. So
yeah, and they have other ways to make sure that the blood is good. So yeah.
if you can, and you're living and you got that red stuff in you and you can donate, do it, and they should be able to take it. They should take it.
I'm a cart carrying. I have like an American Express.
She gets through the bloodline faster.
I have
George Clooney over here.
American
blood card.
Yeah,
I have a card. I have a
Jerry
card.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what's crazy? I made the reference to the Jerry Seinfeld American Express commercials, and everyone around me was like, "What are you talking about?" Like I felt like I'm like, wait, y'all don't remember him being a spokesman for American Express? They're like, nah. There's like, remember Ellen? Like, nope. I was like, what? like they were everywhere. I was confused. Not to be off topic. I'm just sorry. I'm just like,
they were everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, didn't you see him when he went to the diner? He pulled it out and like, no, like, nah, bro.
Fares over here doesn't know shit about comics, but can throw down that knowledge on American Express commercials.
No, man, commercials. Yeah, man, like, yeah, I did. So like, I'm in this weird generation where like we were stuck in between 2 generations. It's like the generation where it's like, what's a commercial? And the other generation was like, we channel surfed.
Sure.
And I'm like in the middle. I'm like, I channel surfed growing up, but like I've also like done stuff where like there is no commercials. It's like I got identity crisis, and I got generational identity crisis. That's what I got. You know what I mean? So
I feel like you get the best of both worlds, because you got to remember how it was when you got to just channel surf and see those old school commercials when you put it on the TV Guide channel just to see what was showing on all the different channels.
Or when you had to go to the TV Guide channel because there was no guide, so you had to figure out what you want to watch, and then sometimes you forget, and you look your head turned.
You missed your
for
channel.
like 2 seconds, and you missed your channel, and you gotta wait for the thing to
take the
scroll
long
all
way
over
around
again. that happened to me a lot.
But at the same time, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So you look at it nostalgically, where you're like, "Oh, those are."
Or
the
you get
good
yourself
times.
a TV guide with Al Roker on it.
Oh yeah, Jerry Stiller. Like yeah, almost said Arthur. That's his character name in King of Queens. It's Frank Costanza.
Yeah, but like with me, it's like I remember like just channel surfing. Like I don't know how big pro wrestling fans here, but like I found TNA channel surfing. We would just channel surf and like we were on this Spike TV. It was Spike TV, which no longer exists.
Yep.
It's not Paramount Network. And we turned it on and they're wrestling. And I'm like, it's Thursday. It's not Monday, you know, and I'm pretty sure SmackDown moved to Friday.
Sure.
Like, yeah, like what is this organization that's wrestling? And then I see Kurt Angle. I'm like, wait, that's where Kurt Angle went? Like, wait, is this WWE? I'm confused. And then I saw this dude wearing this white and black face paint. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? It was Sting. I'm like, hey, who the hell is this guy? And then like this dude named AJ Styles out here jumping through cages, and I'm like, what is this? You know, I'm like, why is the ring not a square?
It's like an octagon. Or
It was like,
whatever,
yeah, it was like
hexagon.
6 sides.
Yeah.
I'm just like, me and my little brother are like, yo, is this WWE's new TV show? I'm like, I think so. Cause it's Kurt Angle. Like I see Kurt Angle, he's right there.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, and I found out it was TNA, it was something different. And I'm like, it was channel surfing. Just good old channel surfing. That's how I became a big fan of the Fast and the Furious. They would do marathons on TNT and TBS. They would just like show the first like 3 back to back to back. And I'll be like, yo, I love these movies. I've never actually seen a Fast and the Furious movie in theaters. I've never seen one in theaters.
Ain't miss much.
Yeah. Well, you know, after 8, like, what are we doing here? Like, what
5 was my favorite, but it's actually
Yeah.
the first one I ever saw in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what I love too, like back in the day, and people just don't know the joy you got from like pay-per-view when you actually were able to order something off pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But then when pay-per-view started doing the all-day rental or all-day ticket where it was like unlimited, so you could just watch the movie over and over and over all
Yeah.
day for 24 hours,
Yeah.
which was incredible. And people always wonder, like, why do you like movies like Biodome and Son-in-Law and like all those movies? It's like, it's because we rented it and I got an all-day rental and I watched them like 10 times in one day. And that's how I know so many of those older movies, because we did the rentals over and over. And like you don't get that anymore. Now it's pop it on, it's streaming, you walk away, you put it on, maybe you watch the rest of it later. But it was a joy to be able to get that movie for that period of time, to watch it as much as you can before it's gone until you can buy it or, you know, eventually see it again later.
Right,
But
because it felt like it took forever for it to get from
the theater
to you know, home video.
Right.
So
that's also the benefit
Yeah.
of Blockbuster too, which
yeah.
people just don't appreciate
So-
anymore.
The one pay-per-view we bought a year. One pay-per-view. It was always WrestleMania.
Of course.
Yeah, we would buy WrestleMania. It started, I think, with WrestleMania 23, where it was you know, it was Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon.
Oh, jeez.
Where it was
Was
Bobby
that the hair?
Lashley. Yeah, it was the hair match. That was the first one we ever bought, and then we bought the next one, and then we just kept buying it, and I'm like, and then, you know, WWE Network came around, and like we didn't have to buy it. We just, you know, but you buy the streaming service, you know, which was pretty damn good streaming service, might I add. But yeah, like every April I would wait, like, we're gonna buy WrestleMania this week. Like WrestleMania, we're buying it, and then we would have a party. And we, you know, it's like me and my brothers and our cousins, we're watching pro wrestling, and you're like, yeah, man, this the life.
Yep.
This is amazing. Not knowing that a streaming service is coming in the next 4 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock, WWE
Now
Network.
it's nothing.
No, yeah, it's whatever it's called.
We well, now it's nothing to watch it. You just pop on Peacock and there it is. Whereas
Yeah,
before you'd have to find somebody who was paying for it or drop the money yourself.
yeah.
Luckily, me growing up when we had the Attitude Era of WWE, like my neighbor had a black box. So we just all would file into his house every Sunday and watch the pay-per-views for free, which was amazing. Then we would end up going later in life. It was to Hooters, because Hooters would show the pay-per-views there for free. So you just go get a burger and freaking watch the crazy ass pay-per-views. Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon. It was incredible. But yeah, that was life. Now it's like, oh, that's right, WrestleMania is today. Peacock. I'll wait till it's over so I can fast forward.
Exactly.
I
You get
can't
the
wait
skip.
till they do that with AEW pay-per-views on Max or something because I don't want to pay for this all the time.
I agree.
Mhm.
I agree. And it makes sense. It would be Max, right? Because I think
Yeah.
they're owned by Warner. So
Mhm.
why
Yeah.
don't they? That would be awesome. That'd be great. I'd actually start calling them Max if they did that. I'm holding out. It's HBO Max though.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
Twitter.
It'll be HBO Max till the day I die.
Does he not call it Twitter anymore?
No, it's X.
I mean, I see the X's, but it's still Twitter.com.
Hey, you know, his mama named him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. All right,
Sure.
that's what's happening.
Twitter.
I mean, it's still Twitter.com though. So unless he changes the damn thing to
I
X.com,
feel like that would probably be too much.
well, it's Twitter then. If it's
It's still
Twitter.com,
Twitter.
Yeah, so probably X.com has probably got bought.
it's
No.
probably something dirty. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna lie, you're
We're gonna
probably
get
right.
some virus over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Or if it goes to twitter.com. Yep.
Oh, X.com
Yeah,
goes to
X.com
Twitter.com.
goes to twitter.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's good to
yeah,
know.
it's whatever. Nah, man, like I grew up watching VHS tapes. I have an entire box of VHS tapes still at my mom's house. My mom is okay. I love my mom. She's a tad bit of a hoarder, and I love it because she doesn't throw nothing away, like nothing. And like she kept our VHS box, like it's this giant box of just random VHS. We have like 3 copies of Men in Black. I'm like, why do we need 3 copies? It's like because we got 3 copies. I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. And like, I knew Star Wars as Star Wars. I didn't know that George Lucas like changed the titles, because like when the VHS tape, when I would watch it, it was just New Hope, but it just had Star Wars on it. I was like, so that's Star Wars. And then I channel surf, and episodes 1, 2, and 3 are on TBS, and I'm like, wait, there's more? Yes, exactly. Robert, look at that. Look at that beauty.
So I used to have the
Fantastic,
original ones like that came out in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Mhm.
And I'm an idiot. Again, I lack foresight. Ended up selling them at the swap meet.
Yeah, but these ones don't have. These aren't the ones that got remade.
Yeah, no, these are the ones
These
right
are
before
still-
they remade it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they have Han shooting first, but yeah.
yeah. There was this nice old couple up the street from me growing up. They would have yard sales, and my mom would go to the yard sale, and it's like cool. And then she would come back with like a box of action figures. I'm like, thank you. Like, and then like we went to the yard sale once, and we bought this like box. It was like a train set. Like they had a train set, and we just bought all of our toys from this yard sale. Shout out to that old couple up the street. I don't know you guys' names. I remember you. You guys had the house. It was the silver gate. I remember the house. I remember it. But like, yeah,
The Johnsons.
yeah,
My
probably.
pride possession, my Titanic.
Two
I have
tapes.
those still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This-
okay.
This movie was the reason why we had to buy the separate VHS rewinder, the little like butt thing where you put it in, it would just rewind it
Mhm.
because of this movie. Because I would watch it so much that we would have to have a separate one. So when watching second tape, I put the first tape in as it's rewinding. But yeah, we had one of those.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah.
Hey man, Titanic, scary movie. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
All right, I can't swim. Okay.
Oof.
All right. So when the Titanic is going down and water is just gushing through the hallways, just destroying everything, like water is scary. Okay. And I can't swim. So my worst nightmare is happening as this movie is going through. Like, and I just like, I freaked out.
Yeah.
I freaked out. And like, there's that one scene where they're all like just standing on a steps, and it's like, it's him and her and like his Irish friend, and his Irish friend like protects them and dies in the hallway because he gets crushed by the water. I freaked out. I was like, no, absolutely not. This is not a love movie at all. Okay, scary movie. But then at the end of the movie, that's when it pissed me off. Let me tell you why. He throws the diamond in the ocean. All right. Okay. Let me point this out. I looked this up, right? So in the movie, in the movie, technically, that diamond, you know how much it cost, Robert? In the movie, you know how much it cost?
No, I lost to Marisol in that Titanic quiz.
It would cost more than the Hope Diamond.
Yeah, it was worth like $90 million.
Woo.
That diamond. I looked it up in the story. It's worth $90 million. So imagine, Robert, if Vanessa throws $90 million in the ocean. Picture that. Picture it. And Vanessa, same thing. You throw Robert throws $90 million in the ocean. How angry would you be?
Love. It's about romanticism.
Look at her. She's gonna side with Rose no matter what.
Greg in the chat saying it was Rose selfish for not selling that necklace and not helping out her family.
No.
Yes.
No. I don't think so.
$90 million.
Because it was from Cal, so it was like, I don't know.
Then why'd she keep it in the first place?
Exactly. Why'd you keep it in the first place? Also, too, he killed himself, so who cared? You know?
Eventually.
So it was like only like 4 years after the incident. It was like in 1927 when the market crashed.
Eventually.
So he got his comeuppance, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Lost his
But
money
we don't
and his
know
brain.
like what their situation was. They looked her up too, and she said she was an actress. Maybe she made some good money anyway, so she doesn't need Cal's money.
So you're saying I'm wondering if you mean her old family or her new family, because it looked like her new family probably didn't need the money, but the old family probably could have used the money from the diamond.
That's why they were marrying her off.
Yeah.
She was there. The reason
Her mom
she
was rude.
Yeah, her mom was kind of
yeah, she was, and her mom and her mom died because she was in the Titanic. Like most of them died, so it doesn't really matter. And she changed her name. Like at the end, she changed her name to Jack's last name. What's her last name?
Dawson.
Johnson?
Rose Dawson.
Oh, not Johnson.
Yeah.
Rose Johnson. What if her name was Rose Johnson? Does that ruin it for you a little bit?
Can I get your name, please, Lud?
Rose Johnson.
That I would keep duplicator.
Nah.
Like imagine that, man. Like this movie, I'm like, this is a great movie, and then I got scared, but that didn't mean I'm like. Even the scary part was amazing. I called it a great movie. Then at the end, I'm like, did this woman just throw $90 million in the ocean? Like I can't get past that. It just throws me off. I'm like, you threw $90 million in the ocean. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's that deleted alternative,
which is ridiculous.
alternative ending where they do find out that she has the necklace, and yeah, it was ridiculous. He's like, let me just hold it, and then she throws it. But yeah. It's just
she had to punch out a couple of kids first.
Imagine like you're Bill Paxton's character, and you find the Titanic, and you're looking for the diamond, and this old lady interrupts your excavation and tells you this beautiful weird story, and you're like, and then then you find out she has the diamond, and you're like, I'm wasting my. You know what? I would have probably stolen it from her.
Yeah, so she's a really old goddamn liar.
So yeah, that's one bit of the
101 next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have thrown it in there.
Oh yes.
All right, did she die at the end?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she dies?
Yeah. Yeah, she does. She dies in her sleep. An old lady in her bed. Warm in her bed. But yeah, she does.
That's wild. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We've gone a little over. We usually do an hour, but we get an hour 17. But you know what? Time flies when you're having fun.
That's what they say.
Time flies when you're having fun. But now
time just flies now.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But without further ado, late to the party. Where can people find you?
Well, we appreciate you guys having us on.
Yes.
Delia and Fares, you guys are amazing, and we can't wait to see where you guys go with this show. Already got to, subscribe. I think I was subscribed and then not subscribed, so what the hell? Got to go back and start all over again, but got to keep on track for what you guys have coming on.
Mm-hmm.
That could be what it was. But you can find us late to the party wherever. I mean, just Google it, look it up. You'll see us somewhere out there. Better late than never. Our retro reaction movie series. We're going through movies of the past voted on by our patrons. Just watch Nobody this past week, and then next week, more than likely, it's going to be Dragonheart because that's the one kicking ass in the poll right now. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, Adelia, where can people find you?
Here every month doing Nostalgia Crackdown with Josh. This month we have a good show. We're going to be talking about the first, not the first, but the Shimodan teams that only played together once is our theme for this month. So that'll be interesting. And you can find us here every Friday night, 8 o'clock Pacific, doing the open table with Fares. Have a lot of fun doing this. And over on the Highlights channel, we've got Starting 11 back starting this week because the Premier League's back. So me and Snark talking about the Premier League every week, Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific.
World football.
Yep.
The real
Fares,
football.
where can people find you?
You can find me here, guys, every Friday. First, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central on our sports channel. That's Gordy Network, the Highlights. It is Good Friends, Better Rivals. It is me and Caleb. We talk NFC East. We talk American football. Unlike Adelia, who talks world football, we talk about the American football scene, as well as Mondays, 8 o'clock Pacific here, the open table. Next week, can I tease it, Adelia?
Yep.
Next week, one of our guests is actually in the chat. He's been in the chat all night. Him and someone else will be with us together. Should I say the names or should I just leave it as that?
Just say it. Just say
It is
Andres and Jen.
Andres. It's Andres and Jen. Next week, Andres and Jen will be showing up. We're going to talk about, their life. Andres moving to Boston. Jen being awesome. Andre being awesome. Just awesome people talking to awesome times.
Now
That's
we have
like
a place to
this
stay when we go to Boston.
Yeah.
Huh, Andres? Huh, Andres? Huh, Andres?
Yes. Andres, question. And I'm at Fares Malone on Twitter. I'm at the underscore Fares underscore Muthana on Instagram. I'm gonna start using Instagram more, because why not? The one social media I don't really use that I have, so I'm gonna use it. Why not? Let's use it one day. But on that note, everyone, you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful time. And one more thing about Titanic. I just want to point one more thing. All right. Jack could have jumped on another debris and saved himself. I just want to point that out. He could have jumped on another thing. Not on the door. The door, no. But there was other stuff in the ocean that he could have jumped on.
If
dummy.
there was.
Yeah.
There was other stuff on the ship they could have fashioned into something and pushed it out. I would have just
Everything
gone
was
to the
happening
part
so
that was closest to the
fast.
water, put it in the water, get on top of it, and then just start floating out. And then that's where you're okay. Plenty of time.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Of time.
Thank you.
Anyways.
On
All right,
that note,
Andres,
guys-
we'll be there.
Yeah, Andres. On that note, guys, thank you guys so much for joining. See y'all next time.
Bye.